Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Clarity event. And today it's about nurturing your creations. And first of all, thank you so much for having been so flexible with this. So it's finally happening. Yay! How does it get any better? Nurturing your creations. So, interesting topic because first of all, I want to ask you, what does creating mean to you? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on Creative Please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And what do you mean to creating? Sorry. And everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on Creative Please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. What does sex with creation mean to you? Everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on Creative Please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And what does sex with you mean to creation? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on Creative Please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. So why am I saying, what does sex mean to you? Well, sex, when Gary and Dane first came out with this process, it is called the meaning process. It basically, sex is something that we often use in this reality as a form of receiving. And then people say, well, why don't you just say receiving instead of sex? Well, because sex has more charge on it. And plus, you also cannot really have sex with creation. So how does this work? And so basically your brain kind of gets a little bit twisted with that, which is exactly what we want. We don't want your brain to try and figure this out. We want to clear any kind of insane points of views that you have about creation, because the insanity of all that is what limits you, not your logical mind. The logic never really is what limits you. If it was logical, you would have figured it out a long time ago. So the thing is that all of the stuff that has you stuck anywhere is never logical. So Access tries very hard to go around your mind and find a way to erase everything that's going on that has to do with the insanity that created the issue in the first place. So let's run this one more time. So what does creation mean to you? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on Creative Please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And what do you mean to creation? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on Creative Please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And what does sex with creation mean to you? Everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on Creative Please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And what does sex with you mean to creation? And everything that is, will you just join on Creative Please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. So let's shift gear a little bit, because yes, there's a little bit of energy, but it's actually not as much as I thought I might come up with this. So let's change a little bit to the big five. Now, the big five is something that Gary and Dane have been playing with for a few months now. And basically, for all of you that don't know what they are, so basically there is the presumptive realities. Those are the things that we have as a given. We've decided something is a reality no matter what. But it's actually not true most of the time, but we've decided it's a reality. Then there is the need of reactive realities, or also called NORs, which are basically the places where you are having a need for someone else to react a certain way, or a need for yourself to react a certain way. And then the needs of reactive response systems, which is where you are doing something so that somebody will react in a certain way that you already have predicted. And so those are called the NOR slimes. And then there is the AI actualizers, which keeps all of this going and going and going and going and going and going. And then there's the fifth element, which is where you're trying to save mankind. So those are the big five. And, you know, I have explained it a few times too, and I'm not sure that really explaining it more every time is also going to create more. But if you do have any questions about it, please ask. But I'm just going to run some clearings. So how much of the big five are you using to create the lack of creation you are choosing? Everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, proverbs, and beyonds. How much of the big five are you using to create the lack of creation you are choosing? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, proverbs, and beyonds. Because one of the things that is actually a given is that as a humanoid, as an infinite being, you are creative. So you don't actually have to look for that because you are it. So everywhere you're trying to look for something that you actually are, will you just join on create all that, please, times a gazillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, proverbs, and beyonds. So if you're not being that, then there is something in the way. So it's not that you have to find your creations or you have to find creativity. You actually have to get rid of the stuff that you have decided stops you from being that. So how much of the big five are you using to create the lack of creation you are choosing? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, proverbs, and beyonds. So again, how much of the big five are you using to create the lack of creation you are choosing? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, proverbs, and beyond. And this has been a really interesting thing. So, you know, as a lot of you know, the last 4 weeks or so, I have been pretty much, you know, staying home, staying mostly in bed, like with my leg up and taking it easy. And, you know, and I was sitting here going like, okay, so body, what do you enjoy? What could my life be like? What things could I be choosing, you know, for my life and all that kind of stuff? And it was always like, so really nothing came up, you know, and I was like, oh my God, I'm terrible. I don't even know how to create. I don't even know how to have fun. I don't even know how this works. You know, I'm just, oh my God, why isn't there anything coming up? Like, why isn't my body saying, let's go for this, or let's do that, or let's have a bath, or let's, you know, whatever. And it just was like, you know, and then of course I made myself wrong for that. And then I've been having some people staying here with me to kind of help me and watch me and support me and all that. And at the time, Claudia was here, and Claudia looked at me because I said, oh, I don't know, you know, and she said, are you crazy? What if you just were choosing fun and then everything else just falls into place? And I was like, what? And she said, yeah, why don't you just choose fun? And then just see what shows up, and then just keep following the fun. What? I don't have to have a plan? So everywhere you're trying to make plans to be creative, will you just try and create all that, please, times a gazillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, proverbs, and beyonds. In this reality, we were taught how to create. What if you now unlearn everything that you have learned about how to create? So everything you're holding on to about what creation is and how to create in your life, will you now please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, announce, destroy, uncreate, all that, times a gazillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, proverbs, and beyonds. So really, truly, what if creation required no planning? So everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And I know for a lot of you, creation may also come in waves. Like there may be times when you're like, whoa, yay, let's create, like, whoa, boing, 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 you know, doing all these different things, having so much fun. And then all of a sudden, nothing. And then what do you do with that? Oh my God, it's terrible. I don't know what happened. So everything that is times a gazillion, will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. So what if you were willing to then actually have a look at that and go, oh, do I need to actually have this in this way? Or can I just really go with the joy, with the fun, with whatever is presenting itself? So really, truly, what if there had to be no plan? So everywhere that you're trying to plan your creativity, and then also micromanage it, will you now please destroy and uncreate it all? Times a gazillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. So how much of the big five are you using to micromanage your creations? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. So how much of the big five are you using to micromanage your creations? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And also, how much of the big five are you using to make time relevant? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. How much of the big five are you using to make time relevant? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. So making time relevant is also when you're going through these waves of creation, when you're basically in a time where there isn't much creation from your point of view, that you then start judging that time in your life, instead of really just really letting that go, but not from a sense of now I don't pay attention to it, or I turn myself off, which we often do too. Like we go from, oh, well, if, you know, if I'm not supposed to really pay attention to it, that means I'm just going to turn myself completely off to it. No, stay present with it, but don't judge it. So what if you could really just stay present with all these different times, but not judge them anymore? So everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. Now, how much of the big five are you using to create the meaning of everything? So everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. How much of the big five are you using to create the meaning of everything? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And we're really good at that meaning thing, you know? If this happens, that means. But what if it doesn't mean that at all? So all the inventions you are using to create the meanings you're choosing, will you destroy and uncreate all that, please? Times a gazillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. All the inventions you are using to create the meanings you're choosing, please destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. So how much of the big five are you using to make time relevant? Everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. How much of the big five are you using to make time relevant? And everything that is times a gazillion, will you destroy and uncreate it, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, poverts, and beyonds. And then you get impatient. That's also part of this time thing. You know, because you get impatient. Oh, this isn't going fast enough. Or this is way too slow. Or, then you put that into your judgment plan too. So again, so how much of the big five are you using to make time relevant? Everything that is times a gazillion. Will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. And then, of course, it gets even more complicated if you have a deadline for your creativity. Oh, my creativity has to be finished by this date at this hour, because that's when I have the deadline to deliver. So how much of the big five are you using to make time relevant? And everything that is times a gazillion. Will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. And with all of that, I think the biggest challenge for all of us is to basically stay and follow the energy in creation. Because there is a lot of us that are procrastinators. We get a project, and then we know the project and we know the deadline, and then we start 5 minutes before 12, to whatever, prove to ourselves that we can deliver under pressure, or whatever the fun is in that for you. And is that actually even yours? So if you are a procrastinator, is this actually yours? Who did you buy this from? When did you take it on when it wasn't even yours? Is procrastination actually yours? And everything that is times a gazillion. Will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. And what are you proving with the procrastination you're choosing? And everything that is times a gazillion. Will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So what are you proving with the procrastination you are choosing? And everything that is times a gazillion. Will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So, and so then there's the other people that get an assignment and they want to finish it right away so that it's done and they don't have to worry about it anymore. Both of those don't function from following the energy of the project. Because if you actually allowed the project to show you what's required, you would also get it done in time, but it would be much more ease. So everywhere you're not allowing yourself to be in contact with your project, in communication with your project, will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. How do you talk to your creations? What do you do to kind of have that sense of like, hello, creation? It's literally just an energetic way of communicating. And so what if you, instead of going already like, oh my God, I don't know how to do that, which is a presumptive reality, what if you actually go, hey, project, show me how to do this? Project, show me. And then have, whatever different projects you might have, if you're someone like me who constantly forgets everything, maybe write your projects on a list. Okay, these are the different things that I am playing with right now, and have them on a piece of paper or have them on your phone, whatever works for you. And then when you wake up in the morning, and you have a little space, then look at that list and go, okay, who would like to play with me right now? And just look through the list. Oh, this one is pinging. Okay, all right, play with that one for a little bit. When the energy shifts, go, oh, are you done for now? Instead of going into, no, I have to keep going. Because I was always told that I have to keep going. I can't stop. I can't stop till it's finished. Oh, the poor Germans amongst us. So everything that is times a gazillion. Will you just join on creative, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Yeah.